Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. We're going to be talking about how I budgeted this month or this season for Christmas. So the thing about Christmas is sometimes it's quite stressful, but it's also an enjoyable time where we can spend time with family and friends, and we also can show them how we appreciate them. Now the thing is, we don't have to overspend to show them our love, but we can show them in smart and significant ways how we love them. So here's how I budgeted gifts. So I would say that I had 3 points of view when it came to gifting this season. One is I set SMART goals, and by SMART I mean specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Second thing I did was I made sure to stick to my chosen budget. So whatever dollar amount I chose, I stuck to that. And how I was able to stick to that was number 3, is I found ways to finesse the system. So let's walk through each step. 1, SMART. When it comes to achieving a SMART goal or achieving a SMART list, let's specify how each point helped me. So starting with S, specific. Sometimes it's best, not sometimes, all the time, it's best to set real numbers with real deadlines. Sometimes it's best to be specific as possible when it comes to shopping, because if you're just walking into a place and you randomly buy something, you might not have been able to do the proper research or make sure that you're setting the right goals for what you want for that person or group. Now, when it comes to measurable, this one's probably the easiest one of them all. It's as simple as writing down the list. So some people use Google Drive. You have it on your phone. Some people use OneNote. I use my Notes app in my phone, but if you're old school, you can just get a notebook and just write down your list. Actually seeing it sometimes helps you to identify what you're going to spend and who you're spending it on, because sometimes you realize, oh, I'm actually buying 13 gifts, but there's only 10 people and you've overspent for no reason. So sometimes it's as simple as writing it down so it is measurable not only to you but also to your wallet. Attainable meaning that it has to be a possibility within your budget. For me, if I say I'm gonna go spend $1,000 on my Christmas list, that'd be unrealistic, and it wouldn't be attainable for me to, 1, spend all that money, and 2, still live. So you have to make sure that you're setting possible challenge, because it is a challenge. So setting the possible challenge for you to succeed, to make sure that you can still live and eat Christmas Day and Boxing Day. The funny thing is that realistic oftentimes leans right into attainable, because attainable is talking about setting up a possible challenge, whereas realistic is talking about being honest with yourself. So attainable, you could be like, I'm setting a $200 budget for the entire thing, but then realistically you have to sit back and be like, is $200 a realistic amount for me to spend? This is where you might take that next step and you might have to do some outside research. So for me, I was searching on Amazon, I was searching through the flyers, I was asking people specifically, like, what are some ideas that you might want? Like, I spoke to my girlfriend, I said, hey, make a list of things that you think you may want, giving me a realistic viewpoint of the dollars I would be using for her or for anybody else. And then the last one for point 1 is time bound, or being time sensitive, making sure that you're not out on Christmas Eve getting those last gifts. Set aside time during the week or time during the weekend when you're not busy. Number 2 is actually sticking to your chosen budget. So now we've set aside our goals and we've chosen our budget. You might have a little bit more cash flow in your budget, so you might be going more towards the 300 to 500. For me, I don't want to spend that much money. It's not that I don't care about these people, but I don't want the dollar amount to be the the judge of how I love them. I'm gonna go and make sure that I'm spending a good money while still making sure that I'm well enough for the rest of the year. So that might require even more research. So figuring out, okay, I have 10 people on my list. Is it gonna be evenly distributed? Is one person's gift less than others? Am I gonna be a little bit more resourceful? Am I gonna go to the thrift store? Am I going to a secondhand store for this? Am I going to an outlet store for this? There are so many ways that we can be a little bit more malleable with our budget, which leads into the third point of finding ways to finesse the system. Now, how you can successfully and efficiently finesse the system is you can find ways to still get what you need within your budget, but use the resources around you. Like, for example, my family converted to a Secret Santa method a few years ago. So before, we would have to buy for each person, which is not necessarily a wrong thing. Some people do that, but we haven't. We realized that after a while, we were continuously buying for a lot of people, and we figured the best way to make sure that everyone gets something for Christmas is that we put everyone's name in a hat and we distribute the names. We make a list on our cue card of 3 to 5 things, and we set a realistic budget for. So for this year, we set a $30 to $50 budget for our family. This might not be realistic for you, but for some of you, that might be the best way that you can finesse the system. When it comes to these things, if there is a budget set, you still have to make sure that you're getting as close to that budget as possible, but you can find ways by going to a thrift store, by making something, by being creative. This is where you can use that mind and put it to good use. Setting up SMART goals, being sure to stick to your budget. If you need to adjust the budget, adjust it accordingly to how you need to feel, and then make sure that finally that you're finding ways to finesse the system. You want to be sure that you are doing things for the right reasons and you're doing things in the most efficient way. Hopefully that was a good help for you. If you have any tips for me for this year or for next year, comments below, because I want to be sure to be as efficient as possible when it comes to setting up these goals, not only for just Christmas shopping, but for shopping in general. Be sure to subscribe, like, throw that thumbs up, and we will talk to you soon.